Thanks. I'm here with Bwipo and Srtty ahead of today's matchup. Big game. Elimination game to see who gets to go to Sao Paulo. Bwipo, I'll start with you. Sure. What do you think went wrong last week that you need to fix going into this match?
Honestly, I think as a team, we didn't put enough emphasis on the champions that we prioritized, as in like playing around that champion as like a priority. We use our tempo to help that guy. He'll carry the game. I think we played very loose, very like, let's just see what happens. I think we've been scrimming like that. It's definitely something that you get when you get a bit of ego. We got a bit of an ego boost. I think coming into the new year, like coming back to our roots and kind of understanding like, what made us a great team last split was the fact that we were really centered around Inspired's picks, making sure that he got advantages of other junglers, and we used our tempo to make sure that he could consolidate those advantages. Sorry. Want to go back to that.
All right, thanks. And Srtty, first win last week, you guys pulled off the reverse sweep. What needs to work this week to continue on in the split?
I mean, I think we're kind of lucky because you guys stream scrims, so we have a bit of a better idea of what to prepare for. I mean, obviously, we are professionals, we do our homework, you know? I think that we have a decent idea of certain tendencies that Fly have, and I think it's really important for us to play towards our strengths as much as we try and play away from theirs, because we need to know what we can and can't do. And I think that if we play towards what we can do as a team, we'll be putting ourselves in the best situation possible. You're
also part of FlyQuest org last year. Is there any extra meaning playing against them today?
I mean, I have a lot of respect for Bwipo as a person in the scene, like as a person and a player. Obviously, he taught me a lot while I was on FlyC, but I mean, I guess this series is my time to show him where that was a mistake.
Bwipo, any final thoughts?
For me, I'm just happy to get to play against people that I think deserve to be in the LTA. I think he's worked really hard, and I want to see him succeed. Obviously, I don't want to see him succeed today, so I'll make sure this will be a bump in the road for him, but
we'll see.
The most important thing, and even last week, I think that 100 Thieves and C9 stepping up and kicking our asses, it was a huge step for the LTA. I think in general, it's really important when you're domestically playing and you're drafting things that you're comfortable with or not comfortable with. When you lose, you realize you need to do better. And I think that when you're in a region where you can kind of draft whatever you want, whatever you feel like, whether that's comfort or just good champions in the meta, and you don't end up getting struggles, it really gives you the sense of like comfort, and you kind of have to play catch up when you do potentially make it internationally. So being in an ecosystem where multiple teams can compete with us and make for exciting series is super important, I think, for the long run, because now the losses or the defeat we suffered from last week helped us realize at least what made us successful and what makes us unsuccessful right now, and helps us refocus on what we need to do to be a great team. And I'm really grateful for everyone in the LTA for stepping up. One thing I will say, I've been working on myself after the scrims I did stream. I will say I was running it down a bit, so you'll be in for a rude awakening if that's what you expect this day.
All right, and Srtty already mentioned he watched the scrim, so I really look forward to seeing you guys play today. Let's hope for a good match. Let's get to it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate Bwipo and Srtty taking the time for that interview. We have a couple minutes here before DIG plays against FlyQuest, and let's just remind people again the history with Bwipo and Srtty.
Yeah, so they played together on FlyQuest with Srtty down in FlyQuest Challengers, actually alongside Sheiden, who you also see. They have a really strong relationship. You heard it in the interview where Srtty feels like Bwipo taught him a lot, and Bwipo is adamant, he was one of the biggest Srtty proponents when Srtty was like, I've done everything to get in, right? Like, I'm doing everything I can. And Bwipo's like, this guy belongs in LTA, and you heard that in the interview as well.
And as you can see right in front of you, it's not just him that are coming in from FlyQuest Challengers, it's also Sheiden, so both of them as a top-end jungle duo coming back and going up against their former, organization mates.
I know another fun thing is that I'm pretty sure it was Kangas who was talking about how Srtty will still show up in Bwipo's stream chat and just ask him questions. So it's I was thinking man, we should go through and see how many times he's asked about matchups and stuff. Obviously Bwipo's going to give him really good advice, and I still think they talk about that kind of stuff. But then also, how much information can he glean from watching Bwipo?
It's really funny. And Jat, you definitely should know this, you know this 100%. It's even though we're talking about him watching stream scrims, what's up, Bwipo? They were in the same org, and when you were in the Academy or Challengers team, you're watching their scrims regularly anyways.
Yep.
Yes.
So he just knows Bwipo, how he thinks, how he talks about the game. If there's anyone that knows Bwipo best in the LTA, it is Srtty.
I also got a chance to talk to Sheiden, and he was mentioning how when he was scrimming the Fly main team, they would just get ran every game. As in, Inspired would destroy them in all of their scrims. So they need to overcome that in this game. We know that FlyQuest are the favorites going into this one, and there's a bit of history, not just between these players, but also their mid laners, Res. Yeah,
both Quad and Keine. This was back when Quad was seen as like Solka. They played against each other in LCKCL Challenger. So like it was crazy that they played against each other in that moment. That being said, Quad's team got the better of him. And this game in particular, Keine did play incredibly well. This is a hilarious back and forth. Like,
what year was this?
This is COVID time.
I was just looking like that looked like a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out too, because like Bwipo kind of brought up, he felt like in team fights they weren't able to support the people who they wanted to carry in the fight. We talked about how Quad and Massu are kind of these flanking carries, right? But on the flip side, Keine has been so impressive in a lot of these Dignitas team fights where they have been able to overcome really massive early game deficits through team fighting, and a lot of that is Keine and Srtty.
Keine has been a silent assassin because honestly, even in that game that I showed you when he was going up against Solka, his team lost, but he was the one that was doing well in lane. Of course, partly because of the matchup, but that's the thing. And then also, when we were in play-ins for Worlds, and he was on Rainbow 7, he was the one that like really smashed Quid in particular, and like he is playing well.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's not talked about as much as his teammates.
And we know FlyQuest are going to be the favorites going into this matchup. FlyQuest were the favorites last week when they fell short, but Dignitas in their match last week did show some fight. For as much as people have talked about Voracious Otacon being overpowered, there were some very decisive engages by Dig. This one in the mid lane, and afterwards when they were actually up against Voracious Otacon from Disguise, still team fought anyway with full confidence and were able to eliminate the buff on everyone.
Yeah, and I think it is really important to point out some of this is a little bit due to team composition, but I think Dig's willingness to take a lot of these fights ties into something that we kind of talked about with FlyQuest's compositions last week, which is that sometimes they were fighting before their composition would be online. It's a little bit harder to sack objectives like they used to be able to do. And so I still think it's a little one-sided going into this match, but if Dig is going to have a window, it's going to absolutely be through team fighting.
1000%. Like if these games were being judged by like one of those op.gg like taglines, a lot of those games for Dig would just be unyielding because they they would fight their way back in. As you already saw, like the Keine flank that he played incredibly well through. We talked about Srtty multiple times on flanks. We're looking at Isles who, I mean, Dignitas released their own mic checks. In the game, he's giving feedback because like we cannot be letting them check our vision. He's making it very clear in the game so they don't make that mistake again. I think this team is really, really good at giving each other feedback and are playing better as game goes along. So this could be one of those moments.
Yeah, FlyQuest, I feel like picked a bit too much scaling in their drafts. They're going to want to speed things up. We'll see what they were able to work on in between the weeks on their non-stream scrims. Scrims against Cloud9. Casters, let's get into the games.
Thank you very much, chat. We are back live at the stage here with FlyQuest versus Dignitas, and one last qualification match ahead of us. Winner will move on to Brazil. Loser is going to take an early off season. You got Kangas and you got Kobe on the cast for this one. Welcome, Kobe.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Super excited for this one. I mean, Bwipo was talking about it in his interview. He was like, if you're expecting what you saw in our stream scrims, then, you know, you're going to be surprised. It's not going to be the same as that. Also talked about how losing was really good and necessary for this FlyQuest team. So let's get into it and see how they have improved after losing to Cloud9 with their week of scrims, both streamed and not streamed.
And how much prep work Dignitas has done as well. Okay, actually, first I got a break here. Bwipo wide out. I didn't read all that. So maybe at some point we can go back to it. Either way, go to design. How much research has Dignitas done on FlyQuest with those public scrims that they did, as well as their own scrims against them? So far, it's the Ivern, Zyra, and the Callista taken away.
Right. So
happy birthday, Jinx!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
The Ivern, an old favorite, and not necessarily new here. That was the last thing that they ended up losing to, or losing with. So let's see. Still goes first pick Cassante. So you would assume by the Jace still being up, I wonder if the changes / nerfs to Jace, you know, buffing up the AD ratios and reducing the base damages are going to be enough to like change some of the draft priorities. Of course, we just saw a Jace on stage already, but still some more time. And Skarner here as well. Skarner had some of the bigger changes because changing the duration of CC, the stun, the E here for Skarner, that is one of the biggest ones that they're looking at as having an impact on this incredible champion that has just been ruling pro play for so long. So we get a look at
Still locked in.
Post nerfs here, Skarner. Definitely slightly less stun duration on the E.
And I have an update here. Thankfully, the fan with the sign brought it over. It says, Bwipo wide out extra coverage correction fluid. Tilt well before use. Thank you very much, citizen. There, I'll give that back to you. Corki locked in as well here for the side of Dignitas. Probably going to, still, we see it more in the bot lane these days, but could go into the mid lane, so a little bit of flexibility for them. I want to get your thoughts, though, because Bwipo had made that public statement, the public kind of decision tree of what the draft priority is for top lane, and that first K'Sante pick, do we think Poppy's going into that, or is that Poppy being held to potentially go somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, Poppy was one of the main counter picks that he said was one of his favorites into K'Sante, so looks to be a very good early pick, holding that as possible support, possible jungle, possible top lane. One of the most flexible champions that you have in the game right now. Very well could go into the K'Sante or could still get moved around depending on these bans. And having FlyQuest showing a lot more range this time around. This is immediate feedback that they got after their last series.
They're still here.
They had less range, and now with Varus, with Hwei, much higher index here in the draft for FlyQuest into that range.
Yeah.
And they're staring down the barrel of super strong frontline from Dignitas.
So now Dignitas, this is the classic decision, is do we go for more dive to try and punish them? Because a lot of those ranged poke champions don't have the best peel. Or do we try and answer? Corki does have the rockets to try.
And problem is, if you're going dive, you're having to dive through a Poppy now. So have to keep that in mind as far as the dashes. So here we go, with the protection bans coming down, both the Azir and the Orianna taken off the table for Dignitas here. Not going to have that as responses.
They want to go for more oh no, Yone was banned out in the first rotation, because Kane's Yone was very, very good last time around, but it's support bans from the side of Dignitas towards Busio, the Elise. I think at this point we can just say that's a support ban, as it's taken off the table with the Rel. So now, what does FlyQuest want to lock in here? Probably a jungler, I'd have to imagine, so they hold that Poppy Flex till the last, and that's the hover.
Generally, a lot of the Conqueror jungles do pretty well into Skarner. Zhao was one of the picks, even pre-nerfs for Skarner, that people would play sometimes. You know, like the Zhao and the Gwen are two of the ones that people would play sometimes, as the ultimate does allow you a lot easier time in combat, and then you kind of use your Conqueror and try and out-sustain through the tanky champ. And now that Skarner has a lower duration on stun, maybe there's less chance of him picking off Zhao and pinning him in bad situations. But we get some roaming here for Isles. The Bard comes out to supplement the Corki bottom lane here and see if he can roam around. I mean, it's quite a deadly roam combination if you have Bard plus an Aurora here. See if Keine can get some mobility for himself as well. You're mentioning how well Keine was playing last week for Dignitas.
But we got our answer, Kobe. The Poppy Flex was held to the last. It's going support, and we're getting the Swain for Bwipo. Played it in the public scrims, so we've already seen some tape on this. It was recently buffed to get a little more health from your stacks, as well as some more damage on the Never Move. And yeah, I mean, it looked decent enough in those scrims, and it seems like that's what Bwipo wants to do here.
I mean, the buffs are, to me, to one of the really annoying parts of Swain is like the permanent extra health on your passive. Already when my teammates get hit by a Swain, like random W or something, you know, level 1 or something like that, you're always like, stop it, you're giving him permanent health. Now it's even more permanent health, and we'll see how wide Bwipo can get if he can deliver for the fans in the audience who have brought their special signs.
Well, either way, Dignitas have a hill to climb here. We talked about how Srtty Sheiden played behind Bwipo and Inspired in their time at FlyQuest Challengers. The rest of Dignitas also has a lot to prove here. FlyQuest, it was a surprise that they're in the lower bracket. Almost everybody unanimously had them first place in the power rankings at the beginning of the split, and now they find themselves up against an old legacy org as well. These two have been around for quite a while here in North America, but pressure's on FlyQuest as well as Dignitas here because elimination is still on the line. A win means you advance on to Brazil. You'll have one more seeding match at the end of the day today, but a loss means that you're heading out. Crowd's ready to go as the players are loading into the game.
All right, in the first series, Team Liquid were heavily favored, and they took care of business quite quickly.
Yep.
In this second series, FlyQuest, I would say, are like similarly favored fairly heavily here versus Dignitas, and let's see if Dignitas can be the ones to upset the way that this day is going, or if FlyQuest will deliver.
I gotta say, there's a worrying trend that we've noticed on the broadcast here, and I gotta bring it up early here because there's the win rate since FlyQuest shared Bwipo's top lane draft priorities. Not that good. Not that good, Kobe. What do you think? Giving public information to the enemy?
So it is that's only 3 games, and in that series versus C9, I don't think the top lane draft was actually the indicator. But hey, Kangas, if you want to pull numbers, those are true
you can't
numbers.
Argue with the numbers, Kobe.
Yeah.
They're right in front of us.
They are there. I would say, as we get our invade here with Sweeper, by the way, so ward kill goes down. Inspired going to start the Raptor camp, get his level 2 really quickly here, and it is going to be the full lane swap, so everybody coming through to make sure that no camps are stolen away or anything. There's no sneaky weak side business being done, and FlyQuest are going to have full bottom side control here with Inspired, with their duo down there. And Srtty is running straight for that experience.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of damage.
Interesting decision there. We didn't see how it started, but yeah, he was just trying to get in range of the minions.
Exactly. Got his experience, going back now to heal after it. And Srtty himself has been one of the big Bwipo fans for a very long time, actually. I saw him in Bwipo's chat, so I was curious. And I asked FlyQuest, how long has he been typing in Bwipo's chat? And they went all the way back here to 2022 here.
Wow.
Ever since 2022, he's a super big fan. Of course, it was on FlyQuest Challengers as well, but even going earlier than that, Srtty's in his chat very often here, talking about picks, talking about draft priorities, getting answers, and even asking how he can win LCS.
And I just heard from production 113 unique messages sent in the chat. Overall, that's a lot.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he said himself he's a big Bwipo fan right now.
Now he's getting dove.
Bwipo is going to
does not have a lot of teammates behind him, and Srtty will be the sacrificial lamb. First blood picked up by Busio.
I wanted to see if they're going to have Bwipo come over and actually take it. And they say never meet your heroes. Kangas, if you die by his hand. But Bwipo there just kind of forcing them off, and then he teleports back up to the top side here. So nice little bit of macro there from FlyQuest as well. The 4-person dive still applicable here in the current meta, and then just uses the teleport to get right back up to the top side. Srtty, meanwhile, having used his, is going to be in a bit of extra pain. So a full level lead for Bwipo out of that currently.
And as we take a look at the replay, I want to highlight something. Bwipo, I mean, it's pretty easy read. As you see, oftentimes supports will do this. They'll start top and then go towards the lane swap to help protect the dive. Bwipo blocks Isles. Isles actually couldn't walk up there to help, and that's what allowed that dive to come through. So really heads up play from FlyQuest and from their top laner.
Take a look at the first recall here for Qua. Oh, he actually cancels it, wants one more wave. This is a regular wave here real quick. Doing quite well for himself so far. The Hwei and Varus combination, again, is going to provide a lot of poke for this team later, and having a very strong lane phase, smooth early path up to his first item is definitely going to go a long ways.
He'd be in trouble. He has teammates in the bottom river, so he can just position down here, and Kaine's also low, so supports are just looking for roams right now. Both of them have just been on the map consistently. I don't know if we'll go for another dive here. Right now, Busio's going to probably just try and get some XP under this wave, make sure it keeps it in the turret. That's 2 plates over to Massu early. Getting this kid ahead is a win condition for the team. We see what Massu can do with a lead.
Yep, both the Varus and the Hwei. The win conditions here looking quite good for FlyQuest, even though it's very early on. And then, of course, we already mentioned as well, off the early play, pretty good stuff there for Bwipo. And Bwipo is going to go the Fimbulwinter pretty early on. Swain's most popular items are, of course, the Fimbulwinter and the Rylai's. And getting the tier early and stacking here, even with the lane swap where you're kind of starved for gold, it's important to get that tier early. So they invested enough gold into Bwipo early enough so he could get his early tier stacking for his Fimbulwinter, so he can get tanky enough. And then you get your Rylai's and then and your Leandries as well.
Yeah, and because he was not trying to get dove himself in the early levels, he was hanging out mid, then went for that bottom play. He avoided the potential kind of danger zone of the Swain where you don't have a lot of CC. It is kind of easy to dive him. And now he's well ahead of Srtty in XP and in farm. You see 22 to just the 9 of Srtty right now is being focused here. Sheiden's hanging around the top side. If Dignitas can get this wave in time, maybe they have an avenue, but no, they're going to call it off.
Currently 5 soul fragments to his name as well for the 75 bonus health here. For Bwipo, feels quite nice for him. Still getting some free stats, despite being one of these, lane swap situations for himself. And it looks like Dignitas here will be able to grab their grubs on their strong side. And they already sent Isles early roaming, so he left the grubs fight here, and Isles early roaming back down to Srtty, try and help out.
This is disastrous for Srtty. He has not gotten ACS in probably 3 minutes in this game. He's still at 9. The wave's been frozen right at dead center. He just can't walk up. Like, Busio and Massu are just keeping him off of it.
Yeah, and the problems are kind of exacerbated here for Dignitas.
World's Quad is in trouble right now. Flashes out of it towards Inspired. That should stop the play. Weirdly, not enough damage. Quad is out of there.
Slow roam here, though. Okay, flash advantage here for Dignitas towards mid lane. See if they can actually return and actually punish Quad. But currently, looking at that next setup for possible Dragon. Double recall goes off for FlyQuest here for Massu and Busio to try and get their items, but it's interrupted by Isles, at least stopping Busio.
Also, update, Srtty, he got 1. He's up to 10. Let's go.
Nice. Everyone counts here in those lane swaps.
He's at least getting the XP for the most part, but he's still well behind.
I mean, it's almost
regardless.
2 levels. It's almost. If you look at the purple bars there, it's an extra half level for Bwipo after this too. And Bwipo has a big wave he's catching right now. So Bwipo's going to get an extra wave. Plus, he has already more than a full level lead over Srtty here, who is just kind of... He's clutching to his no magic mantle and his little rejuvenation bead. He's like, please, this health regeneration and magic resistance, please just help me here. Meanwhile, Bwipo trying to get some of his passive stacks here, but K'Sante is fairly mobile.
Again, 2 levels up right now. Can just walk at Srtty, push him off of the wave. And that top lane advantage is going to be really hard for Dignitas to come back from. Thankfully, K'Sante at least can still bring a lot of value to team fights later on, even if you are behind. He is still just going to be a big frontline tank. But in the 1v1 here, let's see if Bwipo is able to get a sizable lead, because no ultimate yet for Srtty. He's just going to shove the wave in, actually. No junglers are near there. We're actually starting up Dragon here for Sheiden. Also got the grubs early. So Dignitas is one advantage that they do have. We're talking about top lane a lot because of just how massively Bwipo is ahead. At least the objectives have been the focus for Dignitas.
All right, here, as he takes a little bit of a chunk. Nice little sidestep there, though. And he did get the tower plate that he was sticking around for. So extra money there. Yeah, exactly. It's objectives one side, money on the other side.
Which would you rather have?
I generally would rather have money early game here, because money early game means that you can then fight the objectives later before they start becoming a problem. You know, the early dragons don't really matter that much. Only becomes a problem if you really let them stack up. And I'll expect FlyQuest here to possibly do something about the second pack of grubs as well.
Yeah.
They're recalling Bwipo right now, so you'd assume Bwipo with his teleport. Actually, he's teleporting right back out to the top side.
Picks up the Swifties, as now Busio could be in some trouble here. Oh, Cosmic Binding not going to land. Chains of Corruption go out. Now we're focused down on Isles. Burst from Massu. Picks up another kill for FlyQuest. Maybe they go for more into Tomo. It's going to back off, but big pickup for Fly.
Yeah, nice snipe right there with the Varus ultimate. Full Ignite goes down. Extra kill here in the 2v2. And he is going the on-hit Varus. Not going for the lethality Varus version here, of course, with his lethal tempo. So we shall see. Man, this we keep returning. The observers like watching this pain. It's just like, Bwipo is just farming lots of free stats here.
But now Sheiden's going to try and help. Swain ultimate goes out, which means that you can't just keep fighting that. There's no way you're winning that.
Let's count them. Bwipo has the newly buffed passive from Swain, giving you bonus health, plus the Grasp of the Undying, more bonus health that he's farming off them, plus the tier, so that's more free stats. So it's the double health stats as well as the extra mana stats coming through, which your mana, by the way, with Fimbulwinter is going to get converted into health.
That's a good point.
It is a lot of extra, tankiness that he's just kind of farming up there. So it's not just the CS, because you're looking at the CS and you're staring at this giant number discrepancy again in front of your face, but it's also all these stats that he's really racking up there.
Really what it sounds like you're trying to hammer in is that he's going to be a problem. He's a problem now, but he's going to be a bigger problem later once all that stacking really adds up. Sheiden is on the second spawn of Grubs, and there's no contest so far, so we're at least going to get 4 of these.
Yeah, let's see, because Inspired does have Smite, so sometimes you just walk on by and try and steal him, but currently he's going up to Krug, so looks like they decided, you know what? This Dignitas team is so short range, we don't care about the Grub buff that much. We believe in our range advantage so much in our scaling here with having a Swain and a Poppy for counter engage so much for later on, that they are just sacrificing them, and it is going to be the push down on the tower. Let's see about the defense, though. It's on the way. Kangas, 4 people there for FlyQuest.
We could get a fight under the turret, or Dignitas could just take the plates and walk out. Isles does have the magical journey. Portal from Bard is very easy to get away from trouble, and there it is. So just the plate. And I gotta say, yes, Srtty is very far behind, but we actually learned something about Dignitas last week in their games against Disguised. They don't need Srtty to carry for this team to win games. Keine and Tomo really stepped up and showed what they could do. Kaine's Yone game, Tomo's Kaista game. So the fact that they're at least getting gold onto these members, they have the 6 Grubs. Yeah, Srtty's behind, but he's playing the Cassante. He can still be a frontline for the team. I don't know if I'm like that worried for Dignitas right now, but it's concerning that that gold lead has expanded for FlyQuest over the last couple of minutes.
6 Grubs is always nice, because if you do make a big play, you're talking about Keine. If Keine gets in there on Aurora ultimate and they pick 2 people off somewhere, you can then push down a bunch of gold with the 6 Grub buff. Able to get a turret after plays, so we'll see. Teleport up top.
Yeah, so they throw out the Tempered Fate rather. Flash away from Bwipo. Between worlds goes Keine. Damage in onto Bwipo. He has the ultimate available, but he's burning too fast. Dignitas find a kill with the TP play.
Right as we say it, Keine in there, teleports in the Aurora ultimate. They catch Bwipo. Starts with Isles, getting the Bwipo flash out with his Bard ultimate. As he's running away, runs towards the ward that's being teleported on. And Dignitas, they find their play. I really want to see what they can get afterwards. I assume they're going to finish up that top tower, but here it is. The Aurora ultimate, so nice for these picks that you're looking for, and Srtty gets right in there to finish the job as well. Nice Poppy ultimate from Busio there on the Skarner ultimate that was coming out. Busio is able to get the Poppy ultimate off, at least so it's not any worse for them after already losing Bwipo there, but the tower still stands. So despite getting the pick play and investing the teleport, they were unable to get an objective afterwards.
And it was 2 teleports because Srtty used his as well. They teleported onto the same ward, so now they won't have the global play. Dragon's coming up here in 5 seconds, so Dignitas, if they want to keep stacking these, they will not have Srtty there. The Cassante is pushing top.
And let's see here. They do have some pretty key item completions. Skarner with the Heart Steel, Trinity Force done here for Tomo. And Tomo was, although very slightly, towards the top of the gold graph right now, very even with Massu. So we'll see what he can get done on this Corki when you have your Trinity Force. Very nice burst damage. Meanwhile, Isles here. Bard ultimate a couple seconds from coming off cooldown, and they have priority on Dragon now.
Yeah, and because Quad one up topside doesn't have TP, so it's going to be a 4v4 if FlyQuest try and contest. And honestly, it doesn't look like they are. FlyQuest have just been giving over a couple of objectives. Maybe I spoke too soon. Inspired is walking up, has a team behind him. Bwipo just wanted to reposition with everybody else. No flash available. It does have the ult. Never move. Pulls back Isles. Doesn't matter, you got the magical journey if you can't click on the portal. FlyQuest find a pig.
Nice blast cone play over the wall here for Bwipo. Goes at the same time. And there you go. They put a stop to the objective stacking that Dignitas had going for them. Meanwhile, it's going to be an immediate move for Keine to topside. You give up your dragon, but you want to try and punish. This tower going to go down. It looks like Keine is just going to call it quits on the roam.
Yeah, there's a short window there, but Hwei wave clear is just too strong. Hard to actually push the wave in and properly take it down. But it's very low. If they had been able to trade the Dragon for that top turret, arguably worth it there for Dignitas, but the fact that they don't get the turret means that FlyQuest have not only stopped the Dragon stacking, but also have the potential to take that first turret themselves. So feats of strength is still up for either team.
Yep. They got their extra kill as well, so FlyQuest feeling pretty dang good about it. Let's see, though. Maybe Dignitas here try and pull off another pick. Their comp is certainly built for it, and pretty much everybody getting their first items now, except for the supports, so a lot of even footing.
Shout out to Srtty, though, for at least picking up the first item on time with Bwipo. Yes, you're down a full upgraded boots, but you're at least able to answer in the side lane.
Yes, clutching to his Spirit Vision's rush, which, of course, you know, they have double AP on the enemies, but that plus the extra resistances here. For Srtty on the Cassante, still feeling the pain of the early game. Meanwhile, side lanes, Inspired is able to help Quad here with that push. First tower, very, very close to going down on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah,
I think
the other side are going to race. So they're saying, let's not defend bot, let's just try and push in top. Bwipo pops the ultimate to try and push the wave back, and I think he's going to get it.
Stalling!
Yeah, they can't auto the turret, and that's first turret, the FlyQuest. Quad picks it up.
All right, Bwipo, his job is done, though.
Good death. That's a good death, Bwipo!
He stalled it out for the feats of strength. Ends up going down with the remnants of the tower, though. Let's see what that does cost. You know, the death timers now aren't that big, but, you know, 20 extra seconds here with no Swain on the map, although they'll have teleport when he gets back up. So looks like won't be any, like, extra reaching here for Dignitas.
And the Herald would be the next objective to look at right now.
Mikhail's done, too, here pretty quickly for Isles. So Isles grabbing that Mikhail's to try and get someone out of like a Varus ultimate or something here. Try and keep them mobile, you know. They do have a little bit of a range disadvantage in this one, although they have plenty of engage options. And Isles, again, with the Bard, could make some moves here with his ultimate ready as they start up the Rift Herald.
Looks like FlyQuest are going to contest right now. Ooh, flash from Keine. Busio taking a huge chunk of damage. It's Chain of Corruption down, and Temper Fate whiffs. Isles not able to snipe that one, but I think the damage on Busio is enough. FlyQuest are backing off.
Yeah, looks like it is going to be Rift Herald picked up here then, no problem for Dignitas. And now they can get into their side lanes a little bit here for Keine. Keine did use the flash, but still, you're so mobile as Aurora. Quite easy to get that push in.
And now as the Herald's picked up, the next question comes, where would they choose to drop that? Because the Dragon will be up in a minute and a half. I like it when teams wait for that so they can kind of control a wave, push in with the Herald.
Yeah, I'd say generally mid lane here looks quite good for Rift Herald usage to really open up the map. Bottom side turret is already fairly low though, so if they really felt like they just had to get one immediately, this one is lower health. They could shove it down there, but you assume probably use it mid so then you have an easier pathway you know, into the next dragon spawn.
And right now FlyQuest are the ones controlling that mid-wave push here. They might even get some damage on the turret. No, instead they're going to go for an invade. Inspired sees Srtty, who is all alone right now, but should be able to get back to the turret, I imagine. Busio uses the heroic charge. Chain of Corruption flashed by Srtty, so that's a summoner spell down.
Okay. Merc Treads are completed for him along with his Spirit Visits, so maximum magic resistance for him. It is going to be...
Oh! Impale onto Busio yet again. It's the support that's the focus! Misses the ultimate, and Sheiden picks up the kill.
Sheiden here, getting the pick with Skarner, and then slight little sidestep from Tomo is enough. Nice little juke from him. Able to get away from Busio's ultimate, and that is a pretty good setup for Dragon. I mean, enemy has no support, and they're roaming down to Bwipo again.
They're going to turn this into a dive. They have the Tempered Fate for the turret, and it lands! Bwipo didn't get inside of it. Pops his own ult to try and survive big damage between worlds, but Bwipo got back. Used the flash to survive. Dignitas don't find another pick, but with Dragon coming up right now, they might be able to go for it.
All right, pushing down mid pretty heavily here for FlyQuest. should be able to get this one, open it up, and then rotate in through the river here. Meanwhile, bottom side push is going quite quickly here. They're keeping Tomo as well as Isles down there, able to shove that one out.
Yeah, really good that Bwipo lived there because, yes, you trade turrets, but the Busio pick doesn't really matter at this point now. Everyone's back on the map.
It does mean Bwipo has no flash and no ultimate for the possible dragon fight here.
He's got the Fimbulwinter completed, though, so at least he'll be tanky.
Very tanky.
As the Otacon also spawns. So Dignitas, they didn't pull the trigger and go straight for the dragon. I don't know if FlyQuest's top laner will get punished for not having the ultimate cooldown or the flash cooldown, because Dignitas are not interested in actually going for that right now. Pretty calm state in the game, all things considered.
All right, we got our heal cutting coming in. Tomo got his recall off after pushing that extra wave. He's got his Executioner's Calling. His Muramana is transformed. The Corki is feeling quite good as well. So, again, a lot of kind of even footing on par, except for that top lane, which is going to be the full item advantage for Bwipo and all of the passive stats that he's been able to stack up.
You know, that's some. I wonder how much gold he's got in his pocket as well, and how close that actually is, because right now he's just walking down to group with the rest of the team. Dragon is still on the map, so that's still going to bring the team's attention towards it. And currently Dignitas are pushing mid here to set up for this objective. Aurora's pushing the bot wave, so once Keine decides to join up, they could look for a fight.
All right, they're buying time now for Quad to push. Quad with his teleport ready, pushing top side.
Yet again, Srtty hit by the Chain of Corruption, buffers it. Does not dodge the never move, and now he's just slowed down. He might be in trouble here. He'll have arrow slow as well. Massu picks up the kill. Srtty picked off in the mid lane.
This is so big for FlyQuest. Quad teleports down now as well. He's here. They can just run them off the dragon. Srtty down. There's a super blast cone here. They don't want to use it. Okay.
No.
I love those things. They're so exciting to go for super long chases, but FlyQuest have already done what they wanted. They got their pick and they got their objective. Dragon number 2 here. And that was just, you know, good job there from Massu and Bwipo. Massu just able to recognize, hey, you're too close to me, even on Cassante. Nails him with the ultimate. They chase him down. Bwipo follows up with the never move, and FlyQuest, just like that, are able to get to number 2.
We were talking all about the brotherly love between Srtty and Bwipo. I don't think that Srtty's feeling the love after that play, as he's going to want that one back right now. Has just not been able to bounce back from the rough early game. The lane swap went terribly awry for Dignitas. FlyQuest have been playing this out very patiently, but they've got the gold lead back. It seemed like things were evening up for them. Let's see if this Herald is enough for Dignitas to try and get back into it. Because again, the game doesn't seem to be about Srtty. The game is going to be about Keine on the Aurora, and Isles with the Bard ultimates. They can pick Quad. What a keeper's verdict from Busio. That's going to save Quad's life. The hero that FlyQuest needed, and now they're going to look to take the fight onto Sheiden and the rest of Dignitas. Magical Journey into the wall. Stunned up, though. Sheiden can't get the Impale. Inspired's out of the backline. It's Srtty and Tomo trying to fight on their little corner. Bwipo is just permanently healing up here. Keine has the flank on the Massu, but he's in a 1v3 situation. Bwipo is just unkillable. Nobody can deal with the Swain. Tomo gets on the Quad. Shut down for Dignitas. AD carry. Give another one to the mid laner. In a chaotic fight, Dignitas come out on top, but Bwipo will find one more right here. Isles jumping away. Tomo jumps straight into the Swain. Doesn't have the ultimate available. The Q does a lot of damage right now, though. He couldn't pick one up onto Isles. The auto is enough. If they can trade onto Bwipo, it's worth it. And there we go. Keine grabs another one.
And Keine is what we should highlight on the other side of that fight, because Bwipo follows Skarner through the magical journey over the wall.
Yeah.
And that's why the fight becomes so scattered, because he was really the core of the FlyQuest lineup. And then look how scattered the fight gets afterwards. So, as you called out, Busio here starts it out with a really good ultimate to peel for Quad, who is very low. And then FlyQuest move in. Because Swain ultimate ticking here is so powerful, they can move in. Very strong front line. Inspired goes very deep onto Tomo and Srtty, and so he has the ult. He has very low health, but once Bwipo leaves them, there's nobody with health here on the side of FlyQuest. Everybody is running for their lives, and Keine just gets to harass them here with the Aurora, and then you have the flash in from Srtty as well. Tomo just kind of finishing off the other one inside.
Oh, we're right back to live, and we're fighting again! Suppression on the 2, the damage over the top. Busio's going down, Keine flying in there between worlds, And Srtty's buying so much time for the rest of Dignitas, but so is Bwipo. That's a wide Swain as he's getting some kills for his team. He's going further. He wants more. Keine does have a lot of damage right now, but Bwipo is too strong. Massu's positioning well. He snipes him. Shut down to Massu.
All right, round 2 goes the way of FlyQuest, though, here. Let's see. With 2 members left for Dig, it's just Alice and Sheiden. So not a lot they can do, but because Massu is so low, they actually can't take Otacon afterwards. So it's just a good old-fashioned brawl here, Kangas. More kills.
We'll see how it started, because we missed it coming out of the last replay. It looks like Inspired and Srtty are just playing tag.
So FlyQuest got their reset first on that control ward, and they were here really early. Oh. But
close.
Sheiden getting a nice little escape after his Skarner ultimate, but the rest of the team not so much, because Bwipo can flash over to finish up this chase. And then again, this Bard ultimate, he's able to use it to chase on through, and you know that Massu finishes off with the other kill.
As it looks like we're trying to get an insight into some of the player comms right there. But either way, Dignitas are going to want that one back. It was close. Still props to them for taking that fight. Again, Keine is a threat. Tomo is a threat. These are the two that are really stepping up right now. But, man, Bwipo's just buying so much space. And now Massu 5-0-3. 3 items completed with the upgraded boots. This is the guy for FlyQuest to really carry these fights.
Yeah, he is using Bwipo's front line very effectively. Bwipo here with the Rylai's that you mentioned, with the slow, allowing Massu there to fire from behind. And now, after the reset, they'll start off the Otacon. Quad still pushing bottom lane, by the way.
Dignitas are going to approach. It's down to half health. FlyQuest are dodging a lot of the damage as we have the Tempered Fate over the top.
I mean, Sheiden's
trying to delay it as Poppy ultimate whiffs, and Dignitas are now looking at Inspired. Big damage onto the jungler, all out from Srtty. They got him. Inspired's down. Srtty might trade. No! It's just a 1-for-2. Srtty still up to get the Otacon too. Dignitas walk away with everything. Disaster for FlyQuest.
Yeah, you can't really like flip Otacons versus Skarner, because you know he'll go in and Skarner ultimate your jungle, but they don't even have to do that because Srtty just goes right in. They chunk down Inspired, they kill him off, and that is 2 objectives for Dignitas. Dignitas now with the Otacon on top of their dragon, and the pings are already on the map straight for Baron. They're going to reset Kangas, and you have to think after this replay, we'll be looking towards Baron with those Otacon bots. Here's another look at it, though. Srtty's able to pull back Inspired, who had ulted, and then go finish the job as well. You're like, oh, this game's not going to be about Srtty. Well, maybe some of the game will end up being about him, as they're able to kill off Inspired and then get the Otacon, chasing after those 2 kills. And now with the buff, let's see what they can do.
Let's see what they can indeed. Baron's up. They get the control ward on it. As they're controlling vision around the area, FlyQuest are going to have to fight their way in, but look at the cooldowns. They don't have ultimate or flash on quad. Massu does have his up, so could still go for it as we have a cat adopted this series. Dignitas taking down the mid turret now. Chain of Corruption out onto Sheiden, but doesn't last very long because of the McHale's from Isles, and now Tempered Fate missing. Massu is in a rough spot. He's going to have to flash away, but no, he stands his ground! Massu going to fight with the rest of FlyQuest. It's just into the Otacon revives. Dignitas are losing a couple members. Maybe Srtty can get onto the backline. Inspired taking a lot of damage. Massu is still alive. Massu is still free firing. They can't kill the FlyQuest AD carry, and FlyQuest hold the line.
Terminus, plated steel caps, and an extra Negatron cloak are there for Massu, and he stands his ground. I mean, play the Ruin King healing with Ginsu's, you know, like he's able to stand his ground in the back, and they weren't able to like pin him plus Quad together.
Yeah.
Nicely separated. Once Keine actually did find the flank, Quad hits him with the fear, and then they also were able to take down that threat. So despite the Otacon buff, FlyQuest, they're able to take those buffs off the map, and with the delay that they added to the revives for Otacon buffs, like this Baron attempt is not as quick as it used to be.
But there's no response from FlyQuest. I think that they have no... Now they know it's happening, but they were not set up to contest. Busio's going to throw... Oh, Keeper's Verdict lands onto the jungler, but now Busio's in trouble. Dignitas can find a pick. Flash forward from Tomo to guarantee it.
It's still leashed!
The rest of FlyQuest are here, yeah. It's now going to reset. But Dignitas have a 5v4. They lost the Atacon fight. Can they win the ensuing one as Keine now getting jumped on by Inspired, but Inspired's push away from the rest of the team. Dignitas have a 5v3 collapse, quads down! It's up to Massu and Bwipo. Can they make the miracle happen? Massu's looking for it, Inspired goes back in for the engage. Kaine's on to Massu. Sheiden striking him down, but now Sheiden's in trouble. Massu's gonna get this time, he does! Massu, you beautiful man! What a play from the Varus as Bwipo now again frontlining here onto Srtty. Keine has the damage. Bwipo's gonna have to probably back off here, but the rest of FlyQuest are going after the Baron. Bwipo's just trying to stall, so Dignitas can't take it. Doesn't matter if he goes down. He lands the counter move! Bwipo in the 1v2 takes it!
Oh my god, the Swain is just draining them dry here. What a fight! These things are insane! And it all would not have been possible if it wasn't for Busio's snipe and sacrifice. His Poppy ultimate. He is the only FlyQuest member that was at this Baron to deny Dignitas, and he snipes the jungler. Look at this. Busio up here in Tribus. He drops the ward in.
He sees him.
That was enough. All he needed was that drop. He snipes the key member. They can't finish the Baron. Tomo flashes there to actually finish him, and that will become key later on in the fight because now it's 4v5, but there's also still no flash on Tomo, and he's chunked to 50% health. Inspired there got kind of juked by the Aurora and then delayed by the ultimate here from the Bard, and so they kind of forgot about him, but then he flashes back in, and it's another one of these separated fights where Inspired buys time with Xin Zhao ultimate, which is insane for team fighting. Bwipo buys so much time on the other side with his ultimate, also able to sustain here in the 2v1, and Massu fights his way out there on the Varus. So actually just insane stuff all around this game.
How good is Massu? Oh, what a pullback there from Bwipo. Massu didn't even flash in that fight. 2 fights in a row. He holds the flash. Nerves of steel for the young AD carry of FlyQuest with Baron buff, Red Bull Baron power play, shoving it into the bottom lane. They're going to go for the inhibitor turret as well, and there's just no answer from Dignitas right now. They have a couple members coming down, but FlyQuest, they will get this turret.
They certainly will. I mean, Srtty's on the top side trying to push out for Dignitas there. They're just trying to trade, you know, like, we can't really defend this Baron Empowered Siege, so get what you can on the top side, Srtty. Now they call him over because they don't want to give up too much. The reset gets off, so Srtty has arrived. Dragon is also on the table right now for FlyQuest. This is soul point for either team that goes and gets it. But it looks like they want to make the most of their Baron buff. Still 1 more minute left on this Baron buff.
They want to make sure that they get the full use out of it. They can always go back towards the Dragon after the Baron expires. Masu's walking forward to hit the inhibitor, and Quad and Busio are playing goalie for him. With Sheiden there, they're going to have to reassess how they want to approach this. I'm looking at Isles. I think Isles has to be the one to make action start here. There are flashes on most members, but if you land that clutch...
big chunk on the Quad.
I was looking at Isles, but now Quad half health because Keine is making it work. Still, the Aurora can do some disgusting things late in the game. If you get onto that backline, you will just blow them up.
That is the perfect person to chunk, too. Like, that is the ideal play right there. Keine with a half health chunk onto Quad without having to use much. That was just regular ability rotation right there. That's going to put a stop to it. So, inhibitor down. You know, no fight was forced afterwards, so it didn't end up being a big deal. But
I actually like what FlyQuest did. They didn't walk back to the Dragon. They used the empowered recalls of Baron to backspend their gold. They get the Scuttle Crab, and now they're going to start at the Dragon after the reset. So they are fully prepared to take another fight with this 5,000 gold lead that they have. And there's no fight. Dignitas, they're like, yeah, we got to give this one up. Look for another play later.
Yeah, not necessary for them to deny this one, but it does put us on that clock. 5 minutes up there on the clock, Kangas, for Dragon Soul to arrive. The Chemtech, the newly buffed Chemtech.
Yeah.
As well here, so we'll see. Thing is quite good for the likes of Swain and Zhao. Interesting, huh?
I hear, yeah.
These types
Thought
of...
Bwipo was a
honestly,
problem
even for Varus, with the way that, like, this Varus is also like put Varus in the same category as Swain and Zhao nowadays.
I still just can't believe Massu hasn't flashed in like 10 minutes. The fact that he's winning these fights regardless. And you're talking about stacking. Bwipo fully stacked in the Fimble Winter. What's he have for passive stacks right now? How tanky is Bwipo?
Let's check in here. He has 720 bonus health off of his Ravenous Flock.
That's a lot of health.
The grasp is at 99, the range grasp. And of course, this Fimbulwinter is fully stacked, so the conversion on the mana into extra health there too.
All right, well, let's see if Dignitas is able to take him down. All things considered, they're damaging him. But the problem is actually finishing the job. Right now, they've been focusing more on Quad, who has been having a rougher game, but the rest of FlyQuest is stepping up, so it hasn't really mattered. He's been kind of the bait that's pulling Dignitas in.
And for me, like the really cool thing about this is that not a lot of people, very, very few people, would have thought that Dignitas would be pushing FlyQuest this hard. This is really good to see. Dignitas here really getting some good fights for themselves. I want to keep my eye again on Keine because the burst potential of the Aurora is here. And the difference in these team fights when he has gotten a good flank onto the back line versus that one where he got a bad flank.
Oh, damage coming in from Quad, though. Has to flash from the Impale. So no flash available on the mid laner.
Yeah, and we'll keep a look at Keine because he's in bottom lane right now with his teleport ready. So that flash being burned was without even the threat of his teleport coming in. That is actually a very big cooldown victory for Dignitas, even though they don't get any, real victory of a kill or anything. Having that flash down and not having to, threaten with their teleport yet. Keep track of all these wards, Kangas. That could be the play that makes the game.
And because they don't have a flanking ward is what I want to bring attention to. Keine, yes, has found some good flanks, but to your point, the fights that they've been losing, he hasn't. You don't have this big deep ward to make the hero play with right now. Dignitas are going to have to fight to try and get in there.
And Massu here, you mentioned that he holds on to his flash. He's got his barrier up and ready. He has his QSS up and ready. So still yet to die here. Mr. Massu himself.
Between that magic resist, the Wit's End, and the Terminus, how long will it take Keine to actually kill Massu at this point?
Yeah, I think Keine really has to go for Quad because of all of these reasons. And we saw how much he can chunk Quad. So the real threat there is Keine looking for his flanks towards the flashless now Hwei. So Quad has to be very careful with his positioning.
Dignitas are approaching from the mid lane. FlyQuest are currently holding the approach to the river. It's about the second Baron right now. Whoever can get this might be able to close out the game. Even though Dignitas are behind, if they win a big fight, they have enough of a level advantage right now that they can push in. But Bwipo's walking forward. Srtty yet again could be in some trouble. Dodges the never move. If they just avoid Bwipo, that means no ultimate available. Cosmic Bite and hit, so Bwipo. Long cooldown not available for the Baron fight. Tempered Fate flashed by Massu. Held it for that moment. And does get to safety, but now he's away from the rest of the team. So Dignitas, they actually see FlyQuest are a little out of position. They can walk forward and establish themselves in the river.
Yeah, big kiting plays there for Dignitas. And they have all of their flashes, so that's why they immediately turn and try to force here on FlyQuest. They couldn't catch anyone, though, so their reward for now is just vision. Let's see if the vision turns into any picks.
Slow. Oh, okay. Smited for the slow. I thought Sheiden was going to go all in for that one.
Yeah, or at least try and use the ultimate to get a flash out or something, but they're turning immediately onto the Baron, so some harassment from Tomo and Isles. This bottom lane for Dignitas trying to get something out of FlyQuest.
And again, Bwipo doesn't have the ultimate available, so yes, he is tanky, but not nearly as tanky as Chain of Corruption lands onto Sheiden.
Another ultimate down here.
I'm surprised that Dignitas didn't try and go for some kind of all-in. I guess they're waiting for the Bard ult to come back up. That's honestly one of their bigger engaged tools, unless Sheiden just flash impales somebody. So very patient play from Dignitas to actually back off. They also want to get this bottom wave. The supers were pushing in.
Yeah, and they're really worried about the Dragon Soul here. It's coming up very shortly, so they don't want to throw a fight here towards mid lane. Even if you lose some key flashes, some ultimates or something, if it puts you at a disadvantage for the Dragon Soul fight, that'll be very big rewards. It looks like, though, they're positioning towards Baron Trade instead of towards the Dragon Soul. So FlyQuest, they have to decide now, are they going to send one person to pick up the Dragon Soul or send everybody to fight the Baron? They're going to fight the Baron.
And they're looking at Srtty yet again, the top laner. A little away from the rest of the team, has to flash to safety. The rest of FlyQuest are approaching as Baron is at half health. Inspired on a big flank. Knocked back by Keine. Kane's looking for his own flank, but he's marked. He can't get onto the backline. Inspired's actually marking the Aurora as Bwipo just walks in. Yeah, he's hit by the suppression. Massu goes godlike, taking down Srtty. Temper Fate on the 2, but it's too late as 3 kills picked up for FlyQuest. Make it 4. Isles goes down. FlyQuest win the Baron fight.
Perfect job from FlyQuest there. Bwipo here is going to keep hunting.
And they're going to stop the back. Tomo could be in trouble here. Valkyrie's over the wall looking for the damage onto Bwipo with the auto attacks with the rockets. Dodges out on that never move, but they don't even need the Baron. They're just going to go for the base right now. FlyQuest are stopping the back. Flash from Bwipo. Outplay. Give him the ace.
Beautiful stuff, and that is going to be it. Pushing heavily here, FlyQuest inside the base. What a victory! I mean, that last Baron fight was perfect. They just run straight forward with Bwipo, and then they've got the on-hit Varus that annihilates your front line, so very, very nicely done from FlyQuest to finish it.
Who needs the Baron when you got the wave push? FlyQuest win the fight, and they take game 1.
What a fun game there. So many of these fights so spread out because in a couple of them, you know, you've got flankers on one side, then frontline chasing the other backline on the other side, and so many of them were just completely spread out there. But the big takeaway is Massu is the only deathless person. He went legendary on the Varus, full 8 kills.
Yeah, what a performance for game 1. But now let's head on over to the LTA Lounge to break that one down.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the lounge. FlyQuest is able to take one game on this one. I want to focus on the swap that got Bwipo ahead because he was a problem. So let's get straight into it. And it starts with Bwipo. Now, Bwipo does a great thing here at the beginning of the swap where he just is able to place down a ward here just so he can get an idea of what will happen in this swap. So as you can see, as the security camera footage is showing that K'Sante is leading down, and then here comes Bard, they end up pinging his location so they know directly that the swap is happening. And so immediately you get to see FlyQuest as a unit go straight into the enemy jungle, and then Swain decides he is going to lane with Hwei, make it really difficult for Aurora, who has very limited range, to be able to farm, but also by this point Swain will be able to get, as I speed this up a little bit, level 2 through all of this. And so while he gets level 2 here, he then heads bot lane, because I'm going to rewind it just a little bit because something happened here that you guys weren't able to see. Just a little bit. Boom. And the big one here is K'Sante wants to be able to get experience on the wave that's coming up here. FlyQuest is not going to allow them. Both Busio and Massu able to just, yes, he will get the experience, but at the cost of a majority of his HP. So his problem is he has to base. They slow it down. When he does come back, they're blocking him. They're blocking him with 4 members. He's not going to be able to come in to be able to pick up the next wave, so he TPs here. And so, yes, while he does get level 2, he dies. Meanwhile, Swain is going to be able to TP up top for the second wave coming in. And this is where the problem arises. He gets this wave easily. Corki bases, so he's able to get the crash on the next wave. And as I speed it up, he's not ever going to be under threat of a dive. He is just picking up experience as Corki is queuing the wave and is pushing it in just to be able to get turret plating. Yes, Zhao is here, Inspired is here, to be able to just in case he gets dove. But as you can see, 22 CS to the 9, the gold is just there for Swain. He's able to get out of the early game relatively easy. And then throughout the rest of the fight, the problem was Srtty needing to catch up. That was level 5 and like half XP for Bwipo. Meanwhile, Srtty had level 4.
Yeah, I mean, there was as you can see, there's a 30 CS difference at 8 minutes and close to a 2-level difference. Like, that is, it really spoke to, because I know this game quickly devolved into very back and forth team fights, but it really still speaks to how well FlyQuest can set things up in the early game, because Bwipo ended up being the difference for FlyQuest in those fights.
I think he had 6,000 health by the end of the game. Massu had a really good game as well.
Yes,
so
he did.
FlyQuest is going to be happy about picking up that win. One more, they go to Sao Paulo. And as we head to break, let's take a look at our comms replay connected by AT&T and voted on by chat.
She got tag. I'm
Focus the
going
tank, focus the tank.
No flash, no flash.
Yeah, he can't run. I'm running him down. Skarner can't run either.
Focus tanks. Can you pop in?
I'm
Corki.
I'm taking the portal in, okay? You guys do you. I'm fine.
Corki flashed. Aurora will gonna ult. I will have to flash.
I have to flash, maybe?
Skarner will die here
I
eventually.
keep the plant for you guys. Corki flashed.
Aurora is gonna maybe come.
I am no mana. I am
catch
no
Aurora.
mana. I'm dead.
No flash.
I'm
I
dead.
killed one. I can come
K'Sante
behind.
is 1 HP, no flash.
Oh, you guys are losing on that side? Cool. Maybe I shouldn't have chased them. Maybe. They're coming to kill me. Can I get some help, maybe?
Not easy.
That's all you.
I want to
Aurora's
still.
half.
You can stock your key.
Corki no flash.
I'm clicking towards there, but no flash on the Corki.
No flash on all of them. There, no flash on all of them.
K'Sante is coming back from base probably. Guys, it's good if we are on similar pixels so that we can like peel for the
it's
Hwei.
my bad. I went in the portal killing the Skarner because I thought you guys were winning. That's my bad.
Aurora flash.
It's for you. Do you like it? Come on, Charlie, use your new door. Come on, let's go. I said go. Let's go. Silly dog. I'm gonna trade you for a cat. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.